Welcome to Street Fight Radio, your number one anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. It's Wednesday night. Once again, it's time for a street fight. We're here every single week. You can see us on the live stream if you head to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. We're Street Fight WCRS on all those platforms, except for Twitch, where our name is Street Fight Radio. Find us, subscribe, tune in. We're gonna do some bonus live stuff, hopefully when we go on tour next week. So like us and subscribe on all those channels. It really does help us out with spreading this mess across the U.S. My name is Brett. My co-host is Brian. We've been doing this show for a long time, almost 8 years now, and it began with Brian and I sitting next to each other with a couple of microphones stacked on top of shoe boxes, yelling into them, and it's blossomed into this gigantic network of mutual aid and camaraderie that has really surprised me and become something beyond whatever I could expect it to be. Thank you for being here. If it's your first time, get ready to settle in because you're listening to the best podcast on the left of your radio dial, right?
Yeah, we're on the left. Yeah, we would be to the left, actually. It won't go to the right. I like it.
You can find us on WCRS here in Columbus, Ohio. We are going to be taking your calls every Sunday night, but not this Sunday. When we're in town, when we're here in Columbus, Ohio, we are taking calls. We do a call-in show every Sunday, 9 to midnight. You can hear that by subscribing on the podcast. That's how most people are listening. But this Sunday, we will be performing live in Washington, D.C. We're doing 2 shows, an early show that is sold out and a late show that's almost there. You can see us in Washington, D.C. at the Big Hunt. We're going to be performing with the District Sentinel Radio and the Trillbillies. We also have a very special guest that's going to be there, someone that's called into the show before from the area. We're making history, right?
Yeah, we got a lot of special guests coming to these shows. This tour is guest laden.
Yeah, we have a lot coming up. So if you don't know, you can find out now. July 28th, this Sunday, we're going to be in Washington, D.C. Tuesday, July 30th, we're going to be in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Those tickets are going quick. That's going to sell out. That's going to be a lot of people in the room. It's going to be magical. I'm really excited to go to Chapel Hill, just the way that the tickets have sold. On August 1st, we're going to Jacksonville, Florida, somewhere that I didn't think we were going to end up until April when WrestleMania happens. But we're coming to Florida, Jacksonville. Come see us. We're going to be in Atlanta, Georgia on Saturday night, August 3rd. That's the DSA convention Saturday night. We're going to be there. Also, Sunday, August 4th, we have a special guest for August 3rd. We also have Tanya from the Trillbillies and another special guest on Sunday, August 4th. And then finally, we're rounding out the tour in Nashville, Tennessee on Monday, August 5th. You can find all of this by going to streetfightradio.com. If you ever go to streetfightradio.com, the left-hand side is always going to be the newest show. If you're on mobile, it'll be the first thing that you see when you're scrolling down. Beneath that, or to the right, is going to be all of the news about the current tour and where to find tickets and everything. So if you head to streetfightradio.com, there is a post on the right-hand side that says Street Fight Radio, District Sentinel, Trillbilly Workers Party. We are the Hellfire Congregation of Radical Egalitarianism. We're coming to your town. It's going to be a good fucking time. We've got discount tickets available for those of you that can't afford the full price, but you gotta be there. I can't see any reason why you wouldn't be there. And especially Nashville, Tennessee, we're going to have a full podcast with us on stage.
Yeah.
Homegrown heroes.
Homegrown heroes from Nashville. We're going to have that. One of my buddies is going to be probably around one of the Atlanta shows.
Okay.
Just somebody who's a good buddy of mine.
Someone that you've done several volumes of shows with.
Somebody who I might do shows with sometimes. Somebody who is, one of my best buddies in the world that might have just launched a podcast. He's going to be hanging around out there. I don't know if he's coming on stage or anything, but you might get to hang out with me and him.
It could happen.
So, that's
going to be
tour.
A good tour. Yeah, it's going to be a tour. You can find all of it on Facebook. You can find all of it on Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/streetfightradio, there's posts in there that has all the links. The way that we do it, it's like $20 or $25 to get in. If you can't afford that, you can pay for a discount ticket, which is half price, $10 to $12.50. And then if you want to pitch in for somebody else when you're buying a ticket for yourself, or if you're not buying a ticket at all, you just purchase a comrade ticket. They're $10 or $12.50. That covers the other half for someone that pays for a discount ticket. That way, everything is square at the end of the day. If we have any more comrade money left over, that's going to be donated to some sort of immigration resources charity. I'll figure it out which one it's going to be.
Yeah.
But you can get into the show for $10 or $12. You know, if you know, I mean, $25 for me when I was 23 years old and I wanted to take a date with me, that's $50. And that's a lot to ask. So we wanted to figure out something to work around that. And so those options are available as well.
Yeah. So we're here.
Yeah.
We're not on the road yet.
No.
We are
Gearing up.
This is the last show before we head out there and we do our thing. So
follow along on social media too. I stay pretty heavy on Instagram, and I hope to do some live streams and give you some behind the scenes peeks at what we're doing on tour. So follow us, Street Fight WCRS on Instagram.
yeah. Yeah, man, we were talking before we recorded the Undercover Boss show. I switched my medicine. And I feel sort of like a zombie a little bit. I don't want to scare people away from doing stuff. I feel like I'm on the edge of tired all the time. So I'm trying to get into therapy. I'm trying to get one of these therapists everybody's raving about.
Sure.
Oof,
I love it.
That's some hard work. That is hard to figure out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about getting them is that you can't really just call on the phone. It's unfortunate that you can't just like sign up to go do therapy. You're going to have to go to your regular doctor, like I did. You're going to have them say, have you looked into Facebook groups, right? You're going to have a nurse say, hey, Brett, you're here for a reason because science didn't hang the stars and the sun in the sky, right? You have to go through that. And then they will let you talk to like somebody that will actually just listen to your problems and try to help you with them.
Yeah. So I'm working on that. I'm working on trying to get that to happen. I'm trying to.
But are you anxious?
Currently at the moment, yes, a little bit, but not
right
usually.
Now. When I ask the question, all of a sudden you're anxious.
I'm slightly nauseous for some reason.
Okay.
I'm actually keep thinking I might have to get up and go throw up.
Stop.
But
Please don't.
I'm not gonna throw up. I don't think. I feel hot. The whole thing. No, I haven't been as anxious lately. I haven't been having.
But now you're just depressed.
My panics. But boy, once then I got left without that constant survival fight or flight fear. I really realized how depressed of a person I am. Like I am. Like, not the life of the party, I guess is what I would say.
Well, nobody can be all the time. But you do have a lot of time on your hands. If you're not constantly having, like, a panic, if you're not constantly having, like, something to freak out about to occupy your time, it can become pretty miserable to think, like, Jesus, I'm just going to wake up tomorrow. It's going to be the same thing. Like it's just going to be this over and over again, like every single time. It's not going to turn out any other way.
I've kind of boiled it down to a couple things recently, and it's something I've wanted to talk about for a while, and couldn't. I don't know why I didn't think anybody would care, but like the first thing that I have is it's guilt. I have a ton of guilt. Right? Like I'm racked with it. I can't get rid of it. Nothing will make it go away. When I'm alone with my thoughts, I beat myself up about certain things. And one of the things is gratitude. I don't have it. Like I'm not a person. I feel as
you're
though
not thankful.
I feel as though I'm the type of my life and the life that I get to live is one that I should have a lot of gratitude for, right? Sure. Like I should look at the world and be like, oh, I'm so lucky, this thankful. Is great. I'm so thankful for this. But like, I never feel good and I never feel thankful.
You feel like you cheated. You feel like you cheated, that you're like, you're somebody that like wasn't good at work decided not to work and now makes more money than people that do actual work.
Yeah. And I just
I know the feeling very well. I mean, talk to me last year. I know it.
Well, and you sit around and think like I should be grateful, even that I feel like I should be grateful even when I did work and I had a home and like I wasn't homeless. I was paying my bills. I've always been pretty comfortable. Yeah. And I didn't ever even have gratitude then. And I keep meeting these career milestones and I keep hitting these things that are like really neat that like I never thought could possibly happen. And I feel good for 15 minutes. And then once it's over, I don't feel good anymore. I just still feel bad. I feel like I'm nothing. And I don't know how to get past it. I cannot figure it out. The other thing that I have is like just my past kind of makes me sad. Like I get very angry about who I was in the past before.
Well, that's your evidence.
Yeah.
That's your evidence that you're a bad person. That you don't deserve any of this. You have lots of evidence that you can use against yourself.
Yeah. And I like have this weird debt in my mind. Like, right. Like I spend a lot of time thinking like I have a debt that I'm supposed to repay, but it's a debt that I will never have enough kind of energy or anything like that to actually repay the debt.
Right. Well, I mean, because your natural instinct is going to move you towards misery. Like that's where you're like wired to go. That's where you're comfortable staying at. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to find a different milestone. It's great when you have a goalpost because you can move it other places. But I mean, you know, in a way, you just got to stop being so smart about stuff. You got to stop thinking about it too much. It's hindering you. It's slowing you down. You know, it's like you're moving along a road. The discovery, the wonder, the paying back, like all of that is coming. Like all of that's in the future. And it's not going to happen through like stopping and like flogging yourself and beating yourself up. Like there's nothing that comes from that.
Yeah. And I think I think you're right about that. And I know that I shouldn't be a guy that,
but it's just, you know, you're all of a sudden it's 6 weeks and you're like, wait a second. I've woken up every single day since May now and told myself that I'm a bad person, and then spent the whole day running through the same laundry list of things of why I'm not like decent or like why I don't deserve this or whatever it is. And you know, that just to me is, it's not, you know, the problem I think that we have is we think that our thoughts are worthwhile and they're not. Just because you have them doesn't make them true. Like you can definitely look at it's valuable and it will get you very far in this world to be self-aware and to say, these are the things that are bad about me. But your mind, if you don't put it in the direction of like fixing that or finding a solution or something that works for you, it's just going to keep working on that process of like beating you up over and over again, you know? You have to find something, you know, you have to stop worrying about like the results that you get, and you have to focus on, you know, just accepting where you're at right now and really enjoying it and being, you know, you don't have to like prove to anybody else that you're grateful. You just have to stop thinking about why you have to stop thinking about why you're unworthy of all that. You have to get rid of that and start just accepting where you are, you know?
Yeah.
And accepting the moment, you know, when you're having those wonderful moments with your family and enjoying and things and having these things that you never got when you were younger and that, you know, weren't guaranteed. I mean, I have the same issues. I wrote about it on that High Five Friday a little bit where I don't, you know, as somebody that came from the dirt and felt like for me, I was just going to get a paycheck every 2 weeks and try to make it work through every scam and scheme that I could do. It is hard for me to think that I can just spend money so freely when I know how important it is to other people, because I was there. You know, I really do understand how much a dollar costs to people, you know?
Yeah. And I, like I said, I am in a world now, or not in a world. I want everybody to know that I feel lucky and I love what I do, and like I love working with Brett and I love working with Jason, and like Brett's friendship is like probably the most important thing that's happened to me in my like adult life. Like other than my wife, I'm like so grateful to be friends, and I love this show, and I love like this thing we've built together. But I also spend a lot of time like thinking about like we aren't doing an altruistic thing, I guess, is the way I think about it. And I think about this idea of activism, and I think about this idea of paying back some of the bad things I've done, and like trying to be a better person, and trying to kind of I posted in a Facebook group about it today, but here's an example that if it helps. Like, well, actually, I didn't have to give a specific example. I was kind of a bully when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And I think a lot about doing the right thing when it counts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
I think a lot about like, you had an opportunity to do the right thing, and a good person, when they have the opportunity to do the right thing, they do it, and they do it when it counts. And when it counted, I didn't fucking do it. Yeah. I was the other person. I made the bad decision. I made the mean decision, and I was bad about that. And so like I start thinking like, okay, how can I sort of like repay this karmic debt so I don't feel like a problem. So I don't feel like I'm the bad person that made the bad decision in the moment. Like, how can I make the right decision now? And like, you just start talking to people, and like talk to people in my life, and they're like, oh, well, what you and Brett do has really helped me. It helped me get through work. Or my wife will say like, you're really, you guys give a lot of money away, and you guys do this, and you hired your friends and your family and shit like that. And like all this stuff. The point is, I make money doing this. I have fun. I go out and party for 2 weeks at a time with my friends and have like the world's greatest time. Like, I don't feel like I'm paying anything back. So like in the end, when I wake up every morning, I know I do something that people think is good. I still feel like a very bad person. You know what I mean? And I can't get past this idea that I did all of the wrong things in the times when it counted.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, let me blow you up right here then, and say that valid point. You proved it, right? You laid it all out.
Yeah.
You're the worst person in the world. You've done bad things before, and you owe in debt.
Yes.
You're stuck on that though. You've put a period at the end of that. You've said basically, I sat around and while oppression happened, it did nothing. Period. And now I'm going to do nothing and sit around and be sad about it. But you have to make a bridge. You have to say, I was horrible, or I didn't do these things, or I owe a debt, and I'm going to do something about it. You need to find something that you can do, because like the amount of time that you spend beating yourself up, you could be organizing something. You could be raising funds. You could be doing anything else besides beating yourself up.
Yeah, I agree. And I often think about, I think about like, God, like I hate to bring shit, like really super sincere, serious shit up on the show and stuff like that. But like, I wasn't like an LGBTQ ally when I was in high school.
But you have to,
or even close.
You got to forgive yourself, dude. I
right.
mean, but
it counted then. That was the thing. It wasn't. It like was fashion. It wasn't the cool thing to do, and I did the wrong thing because it was the thing that people did at the time. Does that make sense? And then I think about them like, well, am I like really a good person? Because like now is the easy time to be an ally.
And this is, what I'm saying? And this is like the selfish ass thing about these pity parties, though. Is you feel like you're the only person that committed that sin, but you have to remember that there was 5 or 6 other fucking guys around there when you were slinging slurs and saying all of your shit. and you steered out of it. And there's a lot of other people that steered out of it. And there's a lot of people that don't want to listen to somebody talk that didn't move or doesn't know the trappings of that life. Like, you have to just forgive yourself because, like, you've spent the time, you've went to school, you know what it's like in those rural exurbs and what it's like to be a part of communities or try to fit in with the socials, mores and shit. Like, it is a part of the life. That's baked into what I'm fucking doing here, was just that I was allowed into these racist circles where I thrived really well because I'm good at being mean and ugly and gross. And then it's like, wow, I think that was wrong. That was actually bad. That's not helpful. And the stuff that's going on in secret is actually destroying the outside world. You know, it's like, but you have to forgive yourself. I did that because I had no proper training. Yeah. I did that, you know, like, if our kids do it, that's a real problem. They should feel like shit, and they should fucking, you know. But we were stewed in it. It was our upbringing, and it's part of who we are. I mean, you know, you got to forgive yourself. You got, you know, part of it is you got to stop this. You got to be self-aware, but you got to stop getting stuck on the, like, beat myself up part, because it feels good. And it doesn't cause anybody else any problems, right? It's not beating your wife up. It's not beating your kid up emotionally, verbally, whatever it is. It's just you. So it feels harmless. But you have to remember that at the end of the day, we are exactly like our children. Mm-hmm. Like, I am programmed to be the same 10-year-old that I was. And I have all the same bad habits and vices. And I want to reach for all of the easy, quick fixes, whether it's beating myself up or getting angry or whatever it is. But you have to remember that, like, you're piloting this ship, and you need to treat yourself like you are a 6-year-old child. And you do not talk to yourself any other way. That is really the only way to treat yourself internally, I feel. It's just to say, like, guy, you don't want to work out. You don't want to eat your oatmeal. You're going to fucking regret it, because we always regret it when we don't do that. So then I make myself do it, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it really is, like, a lot of time I've spent. I mean, I think I'm on, like, year, like, 3 or 4 of just wondering if I'm even that, like, am I still that, like, I was that person. That person was me, and that person is part of what made me, and that's bad. That's the ugly part of my existence.
There's no judgment at all. There's nobody that can hold you accountable for that. There's no final, like, tallying of who did what or anything like that. It's only about who you are right now. It's only about how you'll react the next time you hear racism, the next time you hear homophobia. That's the only thing that ever matters. Yeah, is how we react the next time. You know.
Well, hopefully I'm right this time. Sure. I think I've been right a few times now. But let's get to some stories, huh?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had that burp building up, and it was feeling real bad. And
I couldn't look at the chat. I was getting too zoned in.
Oh, really?
I feel like I was, like, riding a bull right there.
Yeah. It's just been a weird couple weeks for me because, like I said, the anxiety goes away. I had sort of, like, most of my anxiety is under control, and most of my anxiety feels like it's gone. But what it left me with was this thing where it was like my brain started figuring out reasons that I'm not good, that I'm bad, and I'm not worthy of what I had.
And that was similar to what led me to therapy last year, was that you hit this point when you make enough money where I was spending the majority of my time saying to Erica, like, we need to make $500. And she's like, oh no, what do we do? And then I'm like, oh, I made the $500. She's like, you're the best, Brett. Like, that was really what I spent a lot of my extracurricular time on, right? But once we had the $500, then it was like extra time to just say, like, you know, well, you're not even struggling now. It seems like everybody else is struggling and you're doing pretty well. Like, you're not any better than any of those people. You came from the absolute worst. You came from the dirt, and other people are suffering, and you should too, you know? And you have that extra time to think. Yeah. It's a challenge.
That's true. So the first story I wanted to get into this week was about DoorDash, which
oh yes,
I
love those jeans.
That's DoorDash.
Oh, sorry. DoorDash jeans. DoorDash jeans would be tight.
Yeah.
If they did it as, like, ironic, like an Instagram thing, like DoorDash jeans. I would get some.
DoorDash offers a guaranteed minimum for each job.
Oh, I had something for that.
Have you heard of this? Do you know how DoorDash? I need somebody intelligent or somebody that reads to explain to me how this works. I read this paragraph earlier in the week, and I'm just going to read it to you. DoorDash offers a guaranteed minimum for each job. For my first order, the guarantee was $6.85, and the customer, a woman in Borum Hill who answered the door in a colorful bathrobe, tipped $3 via the app. But I still received only $6.85.
Right.
Here's how it works.
So what they're doing is they're guaranteeing a minimum of $6.85 per order, and if someone should tip, that just goes into the $6.85s. If someone tips $7, I think they do. I don't know if they give them that, but like, so you get $6.85 per hour. If someone tips $3, DoorDash takes $3 and they put $3.85 to you instead of paying you a full $6.85. Oh. So like for someone that tips a bagel, for someone that goes a 0 on the tip, DoorDash is giving you $6.85.
Yes.
But if someone gives $4, DoorDash is giving $2.85.
So you're tipping DoorDash in the end.
I mean, you're making up. They're taking advantage of guaranteed minimum wage laws, which when I had sales jobs, they would do, which was like, we want you to make 3 sales a day. If you don't, you will be paid $7.50 an hour as a guarantee. But if you do that for more than 2 weeks, we'll fucking fire you.
Yeah.
So there's a guaranteed minimum, and they're just saying we will at least provide the guaranteed minimum.
Right. And Mike Isaac on Twitter was posting about this and said DoorDash's CEO Tony Zhu is the biggest proponent of this tipping policy and aggressively defends the math behind it. Last time people got mad at the company closed off a public appearance to the press so they wouldn't get questions on it. The strategy being to wait it out. So basically what DoorDash is doing is this has become public knowledge. Well, this has become knowledge because in the past you could run a company like McDonald's and you could rip your employees off like this and most of their customers wouldn't know.
Right.
But most of DoorDash's...
And the consumers weren't informed either.
Yeah. But most of DoorDash's customers do follow the news about DoorDash. They're not like using DoorDash and not knowing. You got to download an app and get all in there and they know about this.
Well, the other thing that I also saw was when this popped off 3 months ago, someone had claimed in the app they had written 100% of the tips go to the driver, which is true, but they are not in addition to what DoorDash is paying, right? Like if you pay $6 of a tip, 100% of that is going to the driver, but that's only because DoorDash is paying 85 cents for the order. Like instead of someone making $12.85, like you would expect DoorDash to have a minimum built in of $6.85. So when they when they changed it months ago and put it in the app and told people, no, all of your money is going to the driver. When you say $3 for a tip, we give that all to the driver. But they don't say we also take $3 out and put it in our pocket. Right? We also that means we're taking $3 for us too. Yeah. But they are not lying when they say 100% of your tip goes to the driver.
Is that the way with Lyft too? Do you know? Are all these companies running on this?
I don't think all of them. I don't know how many are like that. I really don't know. I haven't done any sort of deep dive. I believe that Lyft and Uber were supposedly giving everybody the tips. Yeah,
I mean that's not really only fair. And I think when
it just the pay just became so low because it was like waitresses where it's like we'll give them $2 an hour, they'll make enough on tips, you know.
Right. And a tip is nobody gives a tip thinking any of it's going to the company. Nobody.
No.
Not a single person is out there. But when you go to Starbucks, you get your drink, you drop $1 in there, and they're like, oh, I hope fucking Howard Schultz gets a cut of this too.
Well, yeah, you know, it says tip jar, but I want the owner to figure out the best way to do it because you will just all spend it on drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, he innovated this thing, so I would also like to tip him for his innovation skills and the employee. Like that's kind of the insidious thing about it, is by even calling it a tip. It's not a tip. They shouldn't. This is one of those things where like they make so many laws and they make so many rules about how you can refer to things in this world, just everything. Yeah. But they don't. For some reason, there's not a rule or a law on what a tip is. A tip should be a defined thing.
They went to court for like what is a chocolate chip cookie, like the softness or crunchiness. Like what defines a chocolate chip cookie?
Yeah, what's cheese? What's cheese product?
What's mayo? Like the vegan mayo place. They weren't allowed to say just mayo.
Yeah.
So I have an exclusive Eli. We love him. I gave him shit. When Drew Toothpaste was on here, I talked a little bit shit about Eli's, but
God damn it,
they sent me this. They are a driver for DoorDash, and they got an internal email. So this is the internal email that DoorDash sent today in response to all of the news media that's been going around.
Love to hear this email.
Yes. After a lot of consideration, I announced last night that we will be changing the Dasher pay model. I want to email you directly to say why I made this decision and to ensure you know what to expect in the days ahead.
Okay, can I stop you real quick?
Yeah.
This is an email he did not want to send.
No. I mean, this is forced. This is because there's a hashtag going around, right?
And it worries me what he chose to do. I want to guess, is there any of him yelling about the outrage of the people?
No.
Okay, let's hear it.
No, this is straight. This is completely corporate jargon. But I just want people to get like the real story of what drivers are being told. In 2017, we built a pay model to prioritize transparency and consistent earnings. Did you? We thought we were doing the right thing by boosting a Dasher's earning when a customer left a small tip or no tip at all. So what they're saying is that, I'm sorry, we were guaranteeing $6.85. All we had to give you was $2 when someone gave you a $2 tip. We were giving you $4.85. Now all of a sudden you find someone's giving you $10 and we're keeping $6.85.
See, I knew they do that.
That's what that is.
Every time they do something like this, every time a corporation gets caught in the act, they always do what I did when I was a kid, when I would get in trouble with my parent. You fucking are like, let's just say like, I smacked my little brother. And they're like, why'd you smack? What the hell did you smack Craig for? And it'd be like, well, he was doing something bad. You was going to smack him anyway. So I just thought I would do it.
I wanted to stop him.
Yeah, I was trying to stop him. I was trying to stop him from doing bad shit.
They don't ever learn. It's like puppies, if you just find poop and then you rub their nose in it, they're never going to learn. You got to find them in the act and really show them.
Well, but they do that. They make it feel like, you fucking people started looking into how we pay, and now you ruined it. And you messed the whole goddamn thing up.
The secret was we were giving you so much. That's the secret.
They are.
People were giving you $4. We were giving you $2.85 extra.
These fucking social justice warriors went on the fucking internet and they ruined your pay. They're fucking, now what? Oh, look at your checks now, motherfucker.
Okay, this is great. I mean, there's just something about this. Whoever crafted this does deserve like a golden toilet. Like, this is just the best. It's just such good, like, dodging the issue. So here we go. This opening line, I love it. While we continue to hear from Dashers that the model generally works for you. Yep. Everybody else is saying it's it.
Nobody ever tells
Everybody that works for me fucking loves this place. What are you talking about? What are you fucking talking about? To serve Dashers well over the long term, we also have to serve the consumers who use our platform. Blah, wah, wah.
They're mad at the consumers?
Yeah, these stupid consumers complaining about the tips, Well,
the guarantee of $6.85, I actually think, in my mind, guaranteeing them a minimum amount that they're going to make on a trip is actually like a pretty good thing, because it gives them a chance to decide whether or not they kind of want to do it, or whether they're going to do it, and whether it's worth their time or whatever like that. But that guarantee should be coming from the company. That guarantee shouldn't lie on anybody except for DoorDash.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I mean, it's stupid, because if I was running the business, all it should be is that, hey, we're going to give these people $6.50 for every single fucking order. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. That's the fucking deal. Every single time we guarantee $6.50 goes to you. We will disperse that across all of our business to pay that amount. The tips you get to keep. End of fucking story. Then you're not doing like fuzzy math to try to keep some of the money extra money that's going in there. Charge the people more to get a fucking sub sent to their fucking house. Fuck them. Make them pay more. Make people. It's too goddamn cheap. Uber, the thing about Uber when it started was that people were getting paid really well off of it, and then they just had to keep racing to the bottom. If it was built in and it cost the amount of money, like, figure out what happens on the other side. I'm like Mark an anarchist when it comes to that stuff, where it's like, make it so that everyone involved is taken care of, and whatever the cost of that is to happen, that's what the consumer has to pay at the end. That's the price of everything.
Yeah,
that's our shirts, that's our show, that's everything.
Labor costs money.
Right, it does.
Yeah.
So while we continue to hear from Dashers that the model generally works for you, I love this. It's like, oh God, can you believe these people out here? They don't know about us.
I mean, they're not Dashers.
They don't know about our relationship. They're not a Dasher.
These motherfuckers aren't Dashers. Like, I hate it when Dashers come into Dasher business and they start throwing around their regular stuff.
So what does this mean for you?
Uh-oh.
It means we will soon announce a new pay model where any customer tip will be independent of DoorDash's contribution for that delivery. It also means that we'll need your input as we develop other details. Stay tuned for ways to continue to have your perspective heard. Our goal is to get 1% better every day and to serve our entire community, including the Dasher community, to the best of our ability. These beliefs have led us to improvements in the past, and they serve as our guide for the future. With your help, we will get there. So this means this is really good for them.
They're going to fuck them.
They're going to give them a $2 guarantee on every delivery.
Yeah,
they're going to say,
we're going to fuck them now.
They're going to give them $2 guarantee. Someone's going to tip $2. They're going to make $4 on it now. And then they're going to say, hey, Dashers, don't you wish we were in charge of the numbers again and we didn't have these greedy people on Twitter talking about our business?
Yeah, these fucking whiners. These fucking whiners ruin your business.
They don't know how much we want to take care of you.
Yeah.
They don't know how little we want to take care of you.
Yeah, Dashers, come on,
man. Come on, Dashers, rise up.
I never even thought of you know why the food delivery never happened with me? I did Lyft, and it was around the time Uber Eats started. The food delivery thing never happened with me because of the smell in the car. I don't want other people's food in my fucking car.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't imagine how to clean that out of the car,
Yeah, one time a guy delivered food to my house, and I ended up buying a fake Gucci belt off of him.
Well, that's cool, though. Yeah. Michigan Congressperson Rashida Tlaib called, was basically, she's giving a speech, and we can just play the audio, can't we? We can play audio on our show now. Let's put the headphones in, and we're going to play this audio real quick.
I don't think I know what it is.
Would you have headphones?
Sure.
Plug your headphones in, and I'm going to pause this video. We're going to go back, and you ready to go?
I'm on it, yeah.
All right, yeah. I want to play this video, and then we'll talk about it.
Oh, I love this.
But $2.13 as a tipped employees take $2.13 per hour federally. Some states, of course, here in Michigan, it's over $3.50 or so. But think about that for 1 minute. And people cannot live on those kinds of wages. And we can't allow people to be living off of tipped, relying on tipped wages. It's just not, or whatever they call it, tipped income, because it's just not enough to support our families. But I also want to always tell a story, because big fights like this one $15. By the way, when we started it, it should have been $15. Now I think it should be $20 to make sure America rises. It should be $20. It should be $20 an hour, like $18 to $20 an hour at this point. Everything, all the costs. And so they say, oh, this is going to raise the cost, but I can tell you, milk has gone up. Eggs has gone up. Everything has gone up.
Yeah.
The cost of food has gone up. The cost of a lot of things that we need guys gone up already.
Okay, so that was shared, and that's a good video, right?
Yeah, that's right on.
She's giving like a rad speech.
That's what we talk about on the show.
This was shared by a conservative PAC. Political Action Committee called America Rising, and it was shared as a negative thing. Caption: watch Rashida Tlaib call for a $20 minimum wage.
That's not that negative.
But the America Rising is a PAC is a new generation of Republican research and rapid response. Follow us for the latest opposition research on Democrats. This was opposition research, Brett. Right. This was somebody's idea of like, we're going to fucking post this and people are going to be pissed off.
How crazy they're getting out there.
You know? So we did this last week. So I thought I thought we could do it again. We could look at a few responses to somebody asking for a $20 an hour,
which is right
minimum
on.
wage.
I mean, they've been doing. They're like, we're going to give you 15 by 2025. We promise.
That's
what
the Democrats do, right?
Criminy, what do you? That's worthless. That's going to be worth $9 an hour by the time we get there.
That's what the Democrats do, though. They give it to you too late.
Yeah,
they make you fight and fight and fight and fight to get the thing, and then by the time you get the thing, it's too fucking late, and you need the next thing. We should just start asking for $5 more every time.
Yeah.
The first response is what made me do this bit, because it's my favorite response I've ever seen on an argument against raising the minimum wage. I even want to look at Jason's face while I read this. Boss, the government here just... So he's doing like a little play in his tweet, and this is the boss talking. The government here just ordered me to raise your wages from $12 an hour to $20 an hour. Worker, yippee, more money for me. Why? In a 40-hour work week, I'll make... Boss, that's the next thing. I'm cutting your hours to 20 hours a week so I don't have to fire you. Like, that's a negative to this guy, that it's like, well, yeah, I have to work half as much and I get paid more money.
I can do something worthwhile with my other time. I could probably make more money with the other time.
You could follow your goddamn dreams.
Yeah.
You could be one of those crafting outlaw peoples that makes like fucking Slayer jackets for small dogs and stuff like that, and sells them on the weekend.
Yeah.
At a craft fair.
$700 a weekend.
You can do so much stuff with your time, but like conservatives are so fucking stupid when it comes to this kind of thing, where they are just like, oh my, it would be a shame if I had only to work half of the time that I have to work and I didn't have that other half of the time.
Well, I mean, the thing about it too is like, you know, you are probably spending half of your time trying to look busy. Like if this person cut your hours in half and you just made double the money, you would just go and do your job in 4 hours and be fucking done with it. You wouldn't have to pretend you were working for another 4 hours of the day.
Another point I'd like to make is if this person cut your hours in half and there was still work that needed to be done, they would give you your hours back in a fucking second.
Overtime.
Labor doesn't disappear. Like the need for the work to get done doesn't go away. Right. Ever. And this entitlement that they that these here's the next one. This is from Charles X Proxy. This is what happens when people who have never created a job, who have never done anything productive in their lives, assume they know something about economics. Tlaib believes one can simply talk the jobs up and the prices down. And like, that's what he thinks, right? I responded to that guy. I decided to get in the shit, Brett. And I said, what if I said I've created 4 jobs that pay $20 an hour and my business is doing fine? Because I don't like owning a small business. Brett doesn't like owning a small business. Jason doesn't like working for a small business. Small businesses fucking suck. But if you own a small business, it's something you can lord over any conservative.
Yeah, it's good.
You don't get any benefits. I don't get health insurance from this job. But better than health insurance, I can look at my father-in-law and say, oh, but you see, I'm a small business owner, and here's what I think about the issue. And it actually means quadruple what his opinions mean.
Yeah.
As a small business.
You got the real deal.
It's like, I'm mad. This year is what me and you need to be asked questions about being a small business owner. This election's coming up. I have a fairly successful small business.
Yeah.
I do have employees who work for my small business. Why hasn't CNN called me yet?
You want to be Brian the podcaster.
I want to freaking be Joe the plumber.
Yeah,
that's
but Brian the podcaster.
Yeah. They
like,
fucking
this young man has found a way to make a lot of money in the digital age and created a lot of jobs along the way, and he chose to do it the respectable way.
Yeah, I want to be able to be on CNN. I want to sit in one of those fucking weird rooms where they put like a table and like a couch and 2 or 3 chairs, and they set a bunch of white people down and they ask them what they think about like Ilhan Omar and shit like that. Like, why won't they ever ask me and you to do that shit? We own a fucking business, Brett. Not
We have to get out there. We have to start dropping our card in more Chipotle lunch giveaways.
Let's just start yelling at everybody that walks down the street, I own a business. A guy stopped me on the street today, and he was like, hey, buddy, can I tell you something? And I was like, what? And he said, fuck it. This whole government is bullshit. And then he just walked away. Didn't say a word to me. He was wearing like a bucket hat, and it had a tambourine on top of it, and he just walked away. No other words
Guardian
from
angel,
him.
dude.
I don't even know what it was. He yelled something to the woman in front of me. I was like, oh, God. Because when you walk around Columbus during the day, people yell at you all day. It is just a place where you get yelled at by people on the street. There's just so much yelling. This is every city. I walk around every city we tour in, and people yell at me. There's a lot of people yelling in the streets. And, yeah, that guy stopped me and yelled at me. And I was like, yeah, that's how we all feel, buddy. I know. I'm with you, buddy. But, the next thing that came up, though, when a guy did respond to me, his name was Sage Common Sense.
I love it. That's a good name.
That's
a good hacker name.
And he said, yikes on thinking every company can pay $20 to all their employees and stay in business. Daily, I'm amazed by the morons who know nothing about economics. Now, I did respond to this guy, and I did say, if you can't afford to have pay a living wage, then you can't afford to have employees, and that sounds like simple economics. And then he disappeared. So that is usually how those people work. But yeah, it's just more people against a fair minimum wage.
Well, and this is what's frustrating about these folks too, is that a lot of the people that aren't making $20 an hour are on government assistance, which is what they're also vehemently against. Like we're subsidizing all the pay of the people that aren't getting paid $20 an hour,
Yeah.
In their conservative logic way, in their logic and reason way.
Yeah. It's just stupid. I feel like for the next year, we're going to have to, every week, a bunch of crazy people are going to complain about minimum wage.
They're golden.
Here's the next one. We got one more audio clip that I wanted to play.
Okay.
And we'll play this audio clip of this fucking guy. The guy just annoyed me. So I'm going to play the audio clip for you here. Here it comes. Here it comes. Walking down the street. This is a guy holding a phone.
I think technology has been the decline in attendance, number one.
He's talking about why people don't go to football games.
Watching young people today live like this instead of like that.
Looking forward.
Stacey and I were out on a date last night, and there was two groups of couples sitting next to us, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm old. Like, not one of the 4 couples were talking to each other. They were all on their phones. And it just drove me up I literally wanted to be like a dad and go like, give me your phone, talk to each other. I mean, this is pathetic.
So guys like this, here's why I played this video. Guys like this don't understand that when people are around them and they bring out their phone, it's because he's boring. He's just a boring person, I guess.
But the other thing, too, is that there also was a period in time before this where people just sat at the dinner miserable. And now
just
they
looked at each other like this.
They had no opportunity to escape the situation that they were in, and regardless of whether or not they should be in it or should make that decision, like they have tied themselves to another person that they're going to live with. You know, they've decided it.
Well, he's also
now they have a fucking opportunity to like not have to listen to that person's bullshit, which is like great.
Well, he's also like assuming something
bad,
about
yeah.
the people sitting next to him. 4 people on phones on dates.
Yeah.
These 4 people are on a date. They're on the phone. It must be going bad.
Well, you know what is actually, you know what's something weird about my wife, which is crazy, because I'm always like, do you see that thing on Facebook today? And she was like, no. I'm like, do you see that thing on Instagram today? She's like, no. I'm like, why not? She's like, I'm at work. And I'm like, you don't check Facebook at work? She's like, she doesn't check, like she works.
Yeah.
My wife works. So like if I go and pick her up and we go to a place to eat, she's probably going to look at Instagram or Pinterest and want to post something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's not our best moment. We can be very cutesy and twee and you can make like a movie about it.
Yeah.
But sometimes, yeah, we just put our foreheads towards each other and just relax.
Yeah, you're in the same room.
And get to, you know, just enjoy doing whatever we want to do and not feeling bad about it. Not having some sort of father come in and say, we can't, you know, play fucking Candy Crush next to each other.
Yeah, let's listen to this baby talk a little more.
This guy is awful.
So it was really, really pathetic. And I think it's just changed the way a lot of younger people and younger fans intake is all through technology. And I mean, you watch a concert and everybody's holding their phone up. Like, listen.
That's not true.
Watch. Take it in. Create a memory. Because they don't go back and watch
But
the
why do you
videos.
care how
just
they
wanna post
enjoy
it on
the
their
concert?
social
Why
media,
does he care?
Which is pathetic because
Pause
it
it.
creates a society.
I will.
Look at me.
It's
Isn't
values.
my life great?
This is what goes. This is when you have established your values. So, beginning of the show, you have a lack of values. This guy wants to wholeheartedly, full-breasted take in the world hardcore, right? He doesn't want to look through his screen.
Yeah.
To people that are like recording the shit and dancing and like going off, they're loving it. They're doing their best thing. You are using someone else's experience as a way to like be angry.
I know.
What's the problem?
That's what I'm trying to figure out is this idea of like, why is his way of enjoying things the only way to enjoy things? And I want to,
I mean, football, you know, as you know, Brian and I sometimes talk about like pro wrestling and death matches and like Shibata and about like people risking their life, people that are putting it all on the line, people that are getting damaged permanently, you know, and then also when it comes to football, I believe in warriors. I believe in people that trade their life for glory, that they do with their body. But I think that's the wave we're on. That's not where we're going. People are not into football. People are moving away from it. The game has changed so drastically. It's going to be flag football by the time my kid's old. And I don't think that I would say the phone has anything more to offer otherwise than the football is just not that big of a draw.
I mean, I would lean also, and I would say it this way, is like, I am also a person who whatever your passion is, I want you to do it. If football is your passion, I want you to do it. But this guy coaches a college football team where a bunch of people risk their brains,
everything.
Their lives, and their limbs for free in the hopes to get that 1% of them are going to get to go
right
and
get
make
a contract.
Money. Like, there is no show business thing that's more exploitive than college athletics.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to go back a second.
But I think that's me and you come from a college football town.
Oh, yeah.
OSU runs this entire place. In the fall, on Saturdays, you cannot be around because every bar, every place is taken over by football fans. But social media, Wikipedia, access to information, conversation between everybody online has led to a feeling of resentment or uninterest or like not wanting to support these things.
I mean,
we've read critiques of all of these things at this point. Like the decline isn't because, maybe people are interested in their phone, but their phone is offering something more than people like injuring themselves for no reward.
Right. And it really is also saying, again, like an educated person who goes to college and who knows what the sport of football does to somebody's body and how these colleges exploit these athletes might not want to go sit in those fucking stands and might not be at those games just because they're not at the game. Because he's insinuating that they're not at the game because they're sitting in their dorm looking at their fucking phone.
Yeah.
And that's just not what's happening. College football, listen, people, not our audience isn't going to get mad, but one of the first things me and Brett ever did together, the first time we podcast together, we were doing a show for like 35 of somebody else's friends, of the other two guys' friends that were on the show with us, and we talked about college football being exploitive and wrong, and these kids need to get paid and stuff like that, and like that is still the most angry I've ever made people. But I think other people. I think we're all starting to come around to this now that we know the things that happen. Again, pro wrestling, bad. But in order to get to the point where you're making money in pro wrestling, you make money as much as you can. Obviously, there's not a ton of money there on the way up. It is illegal to pay these guys. They sell bobbleheads of these fucking guys' heads, and then they don't give them a cut of that money. When I think about it, this is that same outrage I had for UCB. It's like, if I'm fucking selling tickets, if I'm selling jerseys, if I'm fucking selling bobbleheads, I want a fucking cut of that money. I am selling them, not you, not the business, not the college. I'm doing that.
Yeah. And I also have a feeling with someone like this, when he starts talking, people just put their heads down into their phone and it makes them fucking mad.
I know.
And I think I will have the conversation about phone addiction, and I feel that needs to be a more open dialogue about technology and what it means in our life and things like that. But at the same time, whenever I'm around something that I'm really engaged with or something that means a lot, like if I go hang out with friends and family and stuff, I don't get a lot of pictures for the gram. I don't really have time.
I don't either.
I never take time out. When I'm playing cribbage for like 4 hours straight, my kids are like having a good time all night long. Like, I never take my phone out to like get a little Insta story going. Like, I feel like the phone is way more interesting than most of the boring parts of life, which we sat through. In which this guy wants you to just like grab your chair and be like, "Suck it in. There's nothing to do except for talk to me right now."
What?
He just wants to force people to talk to him.
Yes, he does.
Ask me for coach advice.
I want to get into this. Like, because he says something else I hate. Oh my God,
dude.
yeah.
Like,
listen. Watch, take it in, create a memory, because they don't go back and watch the videos. They just want to post it on their social media, which is pathetic because it creates a society of, look at me, isn't my life great? Even though when they go home, they're like, I hate myself, I hate my life, everything's wrong.
Chillax.
So I think it's a big cause. I think it's
crazy.
the root cause.
Too much.
Number one.
You should do this when you're like smoking a cigar.
I think
like,
the
go
fans
off when
that
you're
grew up
smoking a
going and
cigar.
tailgating, and the fans that grew up going to the stadiums 4 hours before the games are getting a little older
And dumber.
I think the next
conservative and hate
younger
football
generation of fans are more reliant on technology. They'd rather have 12 TVs set up in their TV watching cave than go to a game and experience the pageantry and the tailgating. So I think it's definitely things that we need to look at.
He's a drama guy.
As a brand, college football, on how we can maybe create that type of environment.
He's trying to sports entertain my guy? Is that what we're getting at?
Make sure
hey, look,
the
if
experiences that are happening.
But pay
go
your
impede on
players
those
and do some
neighborhoods.
sports entertainment, and me and Brett will be the first
What did he
people
wake
standing
up
in
on?
line.
Is this the first time he's done this, or he was just like feeling it today?
Well, I think like football attendance. Like, it's still the most popular thing in the country, right? Like, nobody's saying that football isn't still the biggest possible
It's not the same
thing, but it isn't anymore. It's losing its
definitely
luster.
not the same.
And these jarhead guys, these coaches, football coaches have always been my least favorite people in the entire world.
Yeah,
like
I've never gotten along with one of those.
Well, I think like they are right there with cops as like the worst
Pretty
type
much.
of person.
Yep.
You know, like football coaches just not for me. And I think that they get asked to explain things because they're football coaches and because, this guy fucking, he leads these fucking team out onto the field of battle for Northwestern University.
He's like Patton.
Yeah, and I think people really fucking buy into that shit, dude.
They do.
And I think they want to ask a guy like that for his opinion, and his opinion is always going to be that young people are stupid and what they're doing is wrong.
Dude, you grew up. You saw like when people were going crazy over it. Like when there wasn't phones and people were just like jumping from the top of the stadium and like nosediving into the fucking dirt. Like going bananas, ripping the roofs off of places. Right. And you wanted to do that when you were a kid. And then now it's like people are like, CTE is a serious problem, you know? And you're like,
yeah.
No, I don't.
No, it was my fucking turn. No. It's like what T from Champagne Shark said on when I did a bonus show with him, right? And it was the craziest thing because he's like, white dudes were brought up for decades and generations where they could like go back and they would watch TV and like a white guy was able to see a black guy and be like, hey boy, you do what I want you to. And he was like, and this is like, we're getting like, this is the first like generation where you can't do that anymore. And a lot of dudes fucking feel ripped off
feel weird
because
about
they
it.
don't get to do it. And this is the same scenario, right? Where this guy is like, football. The football coach is the most important person in town.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the football coach. He gets a sub named after him.
I'm paying for haircuts these days. Shit's gone topsy-turvy.
Yeah, and that's all it is. Because it's not the most fucking important thing.
Yeah, and they can't deal with. And I mean, I go with the flow. You gotta do the same. Like that's what they're not into. Is they want everything to be the same way it was, and it's not. The world's moving in a different direction. You have to get along.
I mean, really, the thing is, the football's in here. I'll just a little bit. Football. The conservatives hate football because the players kneel.
Right.
And the rest of us hate football because of the CTE.
Yeah.
And these football guys are just...
It's going to fade out.
They don't know what... I can't ever imagine a time where I thought it would go away. Football is going to be the same size as professional wrestling in my fucking lifetime, dude.
Right.
In my lifetime.
I'm blown up right now.
Yeah, football's not baseball. Let's not say pro wrestling. Football is going to be the size of baseball in our lifetime.
Baseball still goes, man.
Baseball's like such the lowest thing. Hockey?
Yeah, maybe hockey.
I mean, baseball. I know people fucking unpopular.
Street fight like hockey, but they're like also punk people, so they want to do like what's unpopular.
but baseball.
I don't know.
It's still not as important as it was growing up.
But like when we go to those other cities, I'm like, geez, you guys really care about baseball.
Y'all love
It's
baseball.
fucking weird. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, like really, why?
Yeah, you want to hear some funny? I got a funny one for you here. We got our presidential candidate news coming up. Brett hates it.
I'm not into it.
I got this from the Hill, but I
figure out a way to not have a way to vote. That's what we need to figure out is a way to not have a vote.
The best thing about Street Fight is in election years and years leading up to elections, it's basically I find something I think is funny. And then Brett is like, I don't want to hear about this, but also if you think it's funny, then I do want to hear about this. Yeah. It's basically, that's our trust, right? Like
I've always been that way. I mean, I was talking music a little bit on Twitter and people are like, oh, have you heard of this band off of this? I'm like, back it up. I'm very, very like surface level when it comes to stuff. I just want to get the best of the best. Like you got to hit me with something good. Like don't just come to me with like regular old like scuttlebutt from the political trail.
No,
I want
I'm-
to hear something good.
I'm giving you the good stuff. Senator Cory Booker said Monday that while he sometimes feels like punching President Trump,
Okay. Honest.
Democrats could not win by fighting him on his tactics.
Okay.
Speaking to NBC's Seth Meyers, the 2020 presidential candidate recounted a past interaction with a supporter who suggested that he take a swing at the current president.
Okay.
Echoing comments he made in April, Booker said, this is the thing I had to put. Booker said that while my testosterone sometimes makes me feel like punching him, it wouldn't be good for the country or for the Democrats as they seek to beat Trump in 2020.
This sounds like an advertisement for like a pill.
That Frank Thomas shit that he sells on TV, eugenics.
Yeah, it sounds like an ad scene on TV. Like, this really boosts my testosterone, but I can wrangle it in so I'm not tearing people's heads off.
What an odd...
It's like compassionate crushing, you know?
Like, think about a presidential... Let's think about like a 1958 presidential election or 60. What? I don't fucking know.
You don't know.
You know, because I can't figure out the 4-year thing. But let's think about an election back then.
Bygone era.
They would be all like... My testosterone is so high that I would crush him in a fight.
I think someone was dueling. Like some of those president's people were dueling and shit.
But Cory Booker has to find a secret way to say he has a lot of testosterone.
But we don't like that. I
know.
I think that I feel like overall Antifa has just been trying to say like this is literally the nuclear last option. Like we will not do this until you go in the streets and try to spread Nazi shit, right?
Yeah.
Right? And so so he doesn't want to punch him, which I understand.
Well, referring to Trump as a physically weak specimen, Booker said a punch would be bad for the elderly, out-of-shape man that he is.
Sure. Okay, that's cool. That's good. I like that. That's a good diss. Yeah. But I feel like I don't like how he said he wasn't going to do Trump tactics because I feel like someone has to just run in there and dust him.
You're not going to win.
Right.
You're not going to
You have to play his game. He has set up the fucking arena. You're gonna be Little Mac from the fucking video game. You are going to have to show up and just beat him on that. You have to be able to talk the shit.
Yeah, it is. It really is one of those odd things where it's like
you have to be able to. Bernie cuts through.
He does a
just
good job. He'll fight back.
Laser
He'll say
focus.
shit back. It's what happened is it's so cliche to bring this up again, but we're moving into this time and it's time for the Democrats and for people to start thinking about how they want to approach this thing. And it is this thing where like Trump didn't play by any rules. He was. I always think
this is how they fucking screw themselves.
I bring it to the Republican debates. This is what I always think about the Republican debates. We all watch those, right? And we saw all these guys who trained their whole fucking life to be president. They were in debate club. They learned the rules of debate. They learned the rules of politics.
They ran it over and over. They hired people that got paid $250,000 a year to train them.
Yeah, and they knew all the right ways to do politics. And then this guy came in and said, "Y'all got little dicks," and then fucking he won and he became the president. You know what I mean? And like the Democrats. They're
losers forever. I mean,
and
he's a perfect Democrat because he knows how to lose.
Right, and his tactic.
I would never fight this man. I would never fight this guy that's fighting everybody else. He's fighting against people that don't deserve to be fought against. I wouldn't fight that guy.
Yeah, because like if we put it in like a bar setting, let's say we're all hanging out in the saloon, right? And all of us are there. We're all candidates. You know, you're Tom Tancredo. I'm fucking Mitt Romney. Jason is who's one of the guys?
Bennett.
John McCain. Bennett.
Michael
whatever.
Bennett.
We're all these guys, right? And we're all in there. And Trump's in there. And he is just fucking punching the lights out of anybody that gets in his way. He is standing in this bar punching the fucking shit out of everybody. And like the Democrats' philosophy is, well, if he let him punch as many people as he can, and maybe he'll be too tired by the time he gets to me, and then I will have won the fight.
I mean, no, they're literally walking around the room with their back to him, and it's like, hey, we want to take over. Are you with us if we're willing to try to take over? That's what they're doing. They're walking to everybody. They're saying, hey, we hate what this guy's been doing. We want to challenge him, but are you with us if we try to take over? And, it's like, you're not convincing. You're not leading anybody. You're losers.
Yeah.
You're going to walk up there and get fucking stomped. They're repeating it. I mean, there's nothing about this that has... I'm so checked out of it. There's nothing that has any sort of hope in my mind. It's just incredible that they do it over and over again. And there's just this like small group of us that can kind of look at it and put it together and then feel completely alienated by the rest of the world.
People think we're fucking idiots, dude.
Yeah, because they fall into like these weird narratives, like just whatever someone tells them what happened in the election, you know?
They keep telling us that we're immature, that not me and Brett particularly, but the people that are like, okay, if you're gonna compete against this guy in an election, we're gonna have an election and somebody's gonna compete against him, then somebody like, okay, so if Cory Booker was standing on a debate stage with Donald Trump and he said, you're a physically weak specimen, it would be bad for the elderly out of shape man if I punched you. If he said that to him on the stage in front of everybody, people would vote for Cory Booker.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But instead, he says it in a little newspaper article and then also kind of apologizes for saying, oh, my testosterone gets out of hand sometimes. I'm sorry.
Testosterone.
That's what he said.
He's at a garden party drinking an appletini. He's like, I'm getting too revved up on my cheesemo right now.
My tea
like,
has
you can
gotten...
be tough. Like, someone has to be like, rah, like tough, dude.
I mean, anybody can be tough, though.
Anybody.
I'm not talking... It doesn't have to be a man,
I didn't say that. I'm talking to Cory Booker.
Yeah, to Cory Booker at the time.
Like, you have to just step up. Like, Rashida Tlaib, I love the $20 an hour. That's fucking brave. That's exactly what we were doing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm right in line with that. Not
Omar. When they were following her around, she's getting death threats all over the fucking country. People are making shit up about her now and lying and all this shit about her. And then the fucking news will just come to her and be like, I think Donald Trump is racist and a fascist and we got to get rid of him because he's a threat to the world.
Yeah. And, you know? and I'm not convinced that like they're the solution to all the problems, but they're at least saying the things that I've thought, you know, they're at least talking out loud in a way that makes sense.
Forcefully.
Yeah.
They're not doing...
And they're being straight to the point, and they're not, you know, the Democrats have an attitude of losing. That's what they like to do the most.
Yeah, and they're not doing I always laugh about this. I remember hearing about the pointing. Do you remember... God damn, there's a documentary... The war, it might have been the War Room. This is like an old presidential election documentary where they talked about giving speeches. And like, they were like, people do not want you like pointing at them and shit and gesturing, with their hand while you're up there speaking. So that's why politicians started doing this thumb gimmick where they would like kind of halfway put the thumb up and they would talk and they would like give you this sort of measured answer.
Oh, Bill Clinton had that.
Yeah, the Bill Clinton thing, but other people do it too. I see everybody doing
serving
it.
Us some ice cream, a little bit of dishy ice cream.
I'm going to dish you out some politics, my good friend. Some mint chocolate chip politics, sir. Would you like some milk toast reforms? But like that. I want pointing now, dude. I want somebody to fucking just go up there and like I think
say who they're talking about.
This is
like I'm actually talking about this person.
Because people worry. I think what happens is this is a theory, and I have heard people say this that guys don't go crazy up there anymore because they don't want to look like Hitler. Because like that was the whole famous thing about Hitler. When he would give his speeches, he would just go up there and fucking go ape shit. You know what I mean? So now people are like, well, I don't want to like go ape shit up there. I think I do want somebody to fucking do that, man. Because like it's going to take high energy. And it's going to take somebody that just says what it means. I would fucking tomorrow, if I got to pick the fucking Democratic nominee, I would pick one of those 4 women like Ian Omar or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I would just pick one of them. I think they could fucking win. And I would so much rather have them running the country than almost anybody else that's involved in this stuff. Obviously, I don't want anybody running the country, and I hate the country. Yeah. But I'm saying that, like, if I had to pick, they're the ones that I look at that I'm like, they can fucking beat him.
Yeah, they know.
They can beat him.
They want to tear down American values, and I love that.
Well, let's not be. We thought another guy wanted to do that too, and then he came in and didn't tear down American values. But Obama, that's why we voted for him, didn't we? All right, one more story here to get our blood pumping before we go. We gotta do we can do like a half hour before. You want to do an extra little half hour. You want to do a little extra time before you go on trip, right?
Do you?
I think you should.
Okay.
I'm feeling good now.
What's your philosophy?
I'm moving again, and I got 2 more stories. We can survive 2 stories, right?
Sure.
One bad, one good. How do you like that? We're going to do 1 sad, 1 happy, and then we're going to go home, and then we're going to go to Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Pennsylvania School District turns down local businessman's offer to pay off student lunch debts.
Oh, no.
This is a thing that we had talked about. We've kind of been keeping track of the lunch debt thing because it pisses us off, obviously.
Stupid.
A Pennsylvania school district that recently came under fire after threatening parents that their kids could be recommended to be put in foster care if they didn't pay off their school lunch debts has turned down an offer from a local businessman to clear the debts.
What?
The Philadelphia Inquirer reports.
That's stupid.
Because they don't care about, it's not the money.
It isn't.
It's control.
It is.
It is not the money.
It's judgment. It's placing judgment on somebody's life, putting pressure, some sort of weird Protestant fucking pressure on them, so that they'll change their ill ways of not having enough money.
Yeah. According to the local paper, the Wyoming Valley West School Board rejected an offer from Todd Carmichael, the CEO of La Colombe Coffee. Ooh, they got that roasters headquartered in, those things?
I don't know.
They're like a little nitro. They're good.
Really?
I will say that. Yeah, they're good. And Philadelphia to pay off over $22,000 is all we're worrying about, dude.
Yeah, not a lot. That's a car.
All of us together, it's not a lot.
I mean, people. I mean, yeah, kids are getting cars for their 16th birthday that cost that much for someone that owns a company.
When we're sitting here as a group of people, a community, $22,000 shouldn't be something we should be worrying about. We shouldn't be sitting around worrying about $22,000.
Sure, 11. I mean, yeah, there's 11,000 of us that could throw $20 down.
In an op-ed Carmichael wrote that was published in the Wilkes-Barre Citizen's Voice on Tuesday, the businessman said that he had worked with his team to reach out to the school district to let them know we were eager to donate the full amount outstanding, reported as $22,467. On Monday, we talked to school board president Joseph Mazur to determine the best way to transfer the funds in order to wipe the slate clean and restore dignity to the 1,000 families who received these threatening letters, he continued. Shockingly, Mr. Mazur turned us down. I can't explain or justify his actions. Let me be clear. We offered over $22,000 with no strings attached, and he said no.
What?
Yeah.
That's awful.
And
take the money and run.
Yeah, and the op-ed comes days after a copy of a letter that the school district recently sent home to parents surfaced, in which parents were warned that their children could be recommended to foster care if they did not pay off your student lunch debts. Your child has been sent to school every day without money and without a breakfast and or lunch, the letter states. The letter from July 9th states, this is a failure to provide your child with proper nutrition, and you can be sent to dependency court for neglecting your child's right to food.
Oh my God.
If you are taken to dependency court, the result may be your child being removed from your home and placed in foster care. The letter continues. Please remit payment as soon as possible to avoid being reported to the proper authorities.
Oh, God.
That was the letter that they sent out. A senator talked about it. The school board hasn't responded to requests for comments or anything like that. I don't like not letting this guy pay. This is the kind of thing that instills a hopelessness in me.
Yeah,
is that me and you were also in that same boat where, like, if my daughter, if something like that happened in my daughter's school district and they needed a bunch of money, we would raise money for that in a second, and like, you can't even pay them. You can't do it.
No,
Even the
that's not
people that
enough.
want to
They're
do
like,
something.
We
you
were
know?
just trying to prove a point. We're kind of cool on the 22,000. We just wanted to prove a point.
Yeah, and threatening to
Trying to whip people into shape.
Yeah. Well, that is exactly it, though. Because they were trying to take their children away from them.
Yeah, that's bad. I mean, that's
Like,
really
they were
bad.
sending a thing in there to say, we're going to take you to court, and they might take your children and put your children in foster care. And as a parent with a kid in elementary, so my daughter's in high school now. Brett is probably like a way better person to answer this. Or maybe didn't have the same neuroses that me, but like for the first 4 or 5 years, 6 years of your kid, I mean, for the early part, you are afraid that they're going to find some reason to take your kid away.
Oh, that I am. I
mean,
thought
like,
you were talking about school. Yeah, she doesn't pay anything for her lunch, but
no, but I was always afraid that they were going to find a reason to take Gwen away.
well, there was a time during pre-K where we didn't think it mattered. We didn't think attendance mattered. So we were going on vacations. We went to ACL. We went and did all these other things. Pre-K, she went to a lot of it, but she also missed, a lot of it too. And we got a letter in the mail that was like, your child has broken the attendance policy of Columbus Public Schools, and you're going to have to get a meeting with like a social worker. Like if this continues and all this stuff. So like I go in there completely fucking spooked. And they're like, oh, you got that? You got a letter for that? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, no, that doesn't apply to pre-K. You're fine. And I'm like, oh, great. Okay. But still, like, the thought of it was fucked up.
Yeah. That is strange.
It was just, I just, at that moment, I realized that somebody could come, like, digging around in my house. And, what would they have to say about my life if they did that?
That was
They
sort
could
of the
come
way
up
I
with
thought
like
too.
the stories. The people that are the judges and the juries on this come up with the worst stories in the world. Like they would consider me a drug trafficker or some shit.
Yeah, I always did. Well, yeah, there is a story to be written in every home that has a kid. There is a story of neglect to be written. There's all kinds of different stories that can be written about somebody's kid to take them away when these people come in and look in the house. And like I was also very worried about it. It's just weed. Just weed. Yeah,
that's one for me for sure.
Scared me. I was just I hope they don't think I'm a drug addict.
I hope my kid doesn't
take
say, my dad smokes all day at the house, or something.
Yeah.
Smokes a lamp.
Yeah, smokes. Yeah, here's the last one, Brett. I just thought it was funny. Jackson, Tennessee. The wife of newly elected Jackson Mayor Scott Conger has been cited on a shoplifting charge from Walmart in North
I like
Jackson.
that. He's a thrill seeker.
Poor fucking guy, man. I hate mayors. Fuck them anyway, but it is funny to think I just got elected and now... What are you fucking doing getting arrested?
Like, you're just like, I can slip whatever I want into my pocket.
Oh, no.
What do you
Brett,
get busted with?
Do you have a picture? Do you have your picture up? Can you see
I can
the
see
NDI?
Yeah.
Let me show you a picture of his wife. Jessica Nikki Conger, 30.
She's a doll baby.
Well, she also looks like a shoplifter.
Does she?
Sorry. She gives me vibes, man.
I mean, she looks like she's covering something up.
Yeah, Jessica Nikki Conger, 30, was cited.
Anyone that goes by Nikki.
Yeah, Jason will tell you that.
There was a friend of ours. So when I was younger, there was this girl I dated for like 5 years, and she had a best friend named Nicole, and Nicole disappeared for a while, and then she came around. She was hanging around again, and then she would invite us to these things, and she was hanging out with people, and she went by Nikki when she was there, and she was doing like hardcore drugs, and it was like a way different person. Nicole, we knew Nicole from high school, but Nikki like was a different animal.
100%. Conger was this is so sad because I didn't even know this was illegal, really. Conger was in the self-checkout area just before 3 p.m. when she is accused of failing to ring up 28 items totaling $84.77.
Damn, no. Nope. You can put raspberries in your jacket pocket. That's all you get. You're not going to take that much. Are you kidding me?
I mean, if you get away with... I mean, mine's
You're like-
Italian meats.
I mean, but there's so there's a person that is looking at an RF gun,
True.
and it says this says self checkout 1 has a total of $12.98. They put 28 fucking items into the cart, and they're like, huh? Are all of those 50 fucking cents? Like, you're not allowed. You can't. You would get fired and sent to jail for being in on it. Like, you would be called a co-conspirator in that fucking thing. You cannot get away with that much blatant fucking.
I do agree that, like, you need to be respectful to the person that's working there.
Yeah, they have to have plausible deniability. They have to say, like, oh, I didn't see the PS4. There was 14 items in their cart, but they rang up 13. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're exactly right. You got it.
It was under the dog food. 28 items is hard to miss.
If you're going to steal, and this is just my opinion, if you're going to steal in the self-checkout line, only steal the most expensive few things you're buying and pay for the cheap shit. That's what I do. I buy Italian meats because Italian meats are great. They're so expensive. Like $18.99 a pound, those fucking gabagool. A good gabagool is going to run you like $18 a pound. And I went in there yesterday and I bought some, and I also bought some gummy bears that were $1. And I took the gummy bears and I put the capicola right on top of those gummy bears, scanned the gummy bears, and then threw it in there. Because there's no way I'm paying $7 for a quarter pound of meat. Yeah. But I need I need those Italian meats. So, like, I'm a big, like, I steal Italian meats. Italian meats and avocados is just...
but this
all day and all night. But
these people are just so fucking rotten to the core because you give them an inch and they take a goddamn mile. Motherfuckers, they get voted into governorship or whatever the fucking thing they're doing, and they just walk to the goddamn grocery store and fill a whole cart full and feel like they're gonna walk out.
Oh no. The mayor actually posted a statement on his Facebook after she got caught. They were detained for hours. My daughter was not allowed to use the restroom and had an accident.
Okay.
She was hungry because it was lunchtime and was not allowed to eat. My 3-year-old was a prisoner of Walmart. She was stealing. She stole $84.07.
Yes.
It's just a genius
I like
move.
that.
When you bring
nobody else but her. Only her. I want to see her go through this.
Bringing a 3-year-old with you to steal is, I mean, foolproof.
No, it's a good cover.
Generally foolproof. I did that.
I mean, if you can have a stroller that you can stuff shit into, it does help.
I always have a kid with, I mean, my daughter actually was watching me steal yesterday, and she's like, Dad, I see your technique while we were doing it. And then, like, fucking what happened was, like, I stole like 4 or 5 things, right? And this goddamn fucking cash register light up above, it said, please wait for cashier assistance. This light above is flashing, and on my screen it starts flashing 38 items. This is the number 38 items. And I was just standing there. I didn't get too nervous because I was like, there's no way this motherfucker is going to count how many like when it gets up there into like the 38 frame, he isn't going to count them. But my daughter thought I looked scared, but I was like, no, they don't fucking care, dude. It's about respect.
Maybe it's RFID.
Yeah. But it's about respect for the person who's running the registers. Yeah. I have respect for the person who's running the self-checkout lane. And I would never steal 28 items while I'm waiting in line because that person has to bust me at that point. Like, I have to get in trouble.
Yeah.
If I'm stealing that much stuff.
It's too obvious.
Yeah.
And someone's going to find out about it. Someone's going to ask.
I mean, unless you're buying 1,000 items.
Well, and also,
maybe 28 is okay.
And this is the point also where you can't be as an employee, you can't be 100% certain that security isn't going to catch this. Because if security catches it and you don't, you have to answer for it, right?
Yeah.
If somebody else sees it and you don't, you have to answer for it, you know?
Yeah.
If it's a couple things, you can say like, oh, I whiffed that
shit,
one.
Yeah. Oh shit. I thought it scanned. I thought I heard it. Because that's always my brain. I like practice this. Like sometimes I'll look in a mirror. Like when Brad Pitt has to get ready to do
method acting.
Yeah, when Brad Pitt has to get ready to play like whatever his character. A lot of times I'll be like Brad Pitt and I'll just be kind of standing there and be like, Oh, I thought I heard that. I actually thought I heard that beep when I ran it.
You
know,
you shave your face, towel off, and then you're like, oh my God, it's been the worst day. I am like so frazzled right now. I didn't realize that was on the bottom of the cart. My kid has been driving me nuts. Ugh. Okay, sorry, I have the money. I'll totally pay for it. Let's not get the cops involved.
That's another move. For me, it's always like, I always feel like the ignorant dad.
Yeah, it works.
Like
they still think you're Jim Belushi.
My move is always just like kind of nice. But like I would never
be stupid.
Yeah,
you have
nice,
to be Homer Simpson.
Yes,
be Homer Simpson.
Yes, because that's what I do. I'll be like, "Oh, I didn't pay for that."
It's one of the
shit.
One of the nice things about white privilege right now is that white guys are treated as the worst, and you're just like, yeah, I'm the worst right now. I didn't even realize I couldn't do that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize I couldn't accidentally walk out with all this.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh God damn it, get back in there.
Yeah. I don't think white guys get arrested for stealing unless you're like broke.
I haven't seen one.
Like only poor white guys get busted.
You have some
for
bad
shoplifting.
tattoos.
Or like the stringy hair. Like, Lonnie's get busted for shoplifting.
Have some folk
But like
on.
anybody who dresses, I mean, most white guys can't get busted. If you're a white, straight presenting male, I never seen a guy that looks like me getting busted for shoplifting. Never, not one time ever in my life. I just don't even think they consider it shoplifting if I do.
No, they don't. They're like, he has a pretty good reason.
Yeah.
A guy like that, pillar of society. He's really the foundation of all of this, so he has a good reason.
I've told the fucking story about fucking walking into Whole Foods and fucking grabbing a pizza. I ordered a pizza. I was like, hey, give me one of your shitty fucking garbage pizzas with pepperoni on it. The guy fucking hands it to me, and I just walk out the door.
Yeah.
I walked right out. I didn't even go to the cash register. I just walked right out with it. Didn't fucking pay for it at all. And then the other time, a cop was on his way to respond to a robbery, and I was getting high and listening to music really loud while I was driving. I almost fucking wrecked into this cop, okay? But I swerved.
There was like sirens going off, and you turned the corner, right?
Yeah, we're at a four-way stop, and the light turns green, right? And I'm sitting in a turn lane, and I had the Action Bronson. I was listening to Action Bronson very loud, and I was smoking weed. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why isn't anybody moving? The light's green. I'm yelling. I'm furious about nobody moving. And I was like, well, if you're not going to fucking do it, I'm going to do it. And I go to do the turn, and coming up the wrong side of the street is the fucking police with their lights on, flashing and blaring, and they're crossing the intersection. I fucking see it, and I'm like really close to hitting it head on. I fucking turn and I slam on. For some reason, I couldn't take my foot off the gas. It was this really weird thing where, like, if I had just turned and pulled into the parking lot,
you could have just stopped.
This whole thing would have been over.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to do. It's like, slow down, stop.
Like, but I think I was just so much adrenaline that I kept my foot on the gas, and I fucking totaled my car by running it into a sign for a United Dairy Farm.
Cops were coming at you, and you like swerved, right?
I just swerved because they were coming the wrong side of the road. Fucking no trouble at all. Not only did I didn't get a ticket at all, the cop that I almost head-on hit that was responding to a fucking robbery came back and apologized for me for what happened, and they paid to get my car towed for me with like customer service. So I just like am in this mode now in my life where I'm like, people that look like me never get in trouble. Yeah. It just is like not a thing.
Well, there's a lot of time when like we go to all these festivals all summer long, like security people will like make eye contact with me and give me a nod. And
yes!
I feel like I can walk up and just be like, I think we got a situation going on over here. I'd like to see some resources moved in this direction. I feel like I could just go command like any security situation at a festival for real.
Right. Well, that's what makes me fucking crazy when people say there's no such thing as as white privilege. Because I'm even sitting right now, I'm sitting at this table thinking about how I'm paying $900 to go see fucking Austin City Limits, when in all reality, I could fucking walk up and just say, hey, I gotta go in there and grab something real quick, and just walk in, and they would let me do it. I know they would. I fucking know it. Take me somewhere and let me try it.
That's such a good idea. Hey, I'm not going to bullshit you here. I have to get inside for a reason that doesn't matter to you. And they're like, oh, okay, sure, I guess.
Yeah. Take me anywhere. I'll try it. I'll put on the right clothes, and I'm willing to fucking bet I can get into anything. Any fucking thing.
That's fucking
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But I don't want to go to jail or anything, and I don't I'm not a risky guy. It just, it feels like I am that. Somebody in here said I'm invincible is the halfway point of every serial killer narrative. White dudes are fucking serial killers. Like, that's why.
Yeah.
Because you think that you can just do it. You think that you can do fucking anything. They never suspect you. They think you're the police fucking think that I am on their team.
Yeah, they think you want to they think you're gonna work with them, or like you're a detective.
Yeah,
like he's got a good head on his shoulders. I think he can tell us what happened here. We don't have to do much work. He's just gonna tell us.
And one, I'm an idiot. Two, I'm an anarchist. I do an anarchist podcast where I sit and fucking scream about the police, and the police are like, this guy right here, man, I gotta tell you something. He's a really good one, and he
that's the Jeffrey Dahmer. Like Jeffrey Dahmer, they caught his ass and he talked his way out of it. You know, repeat that forever.
Yeah, somebody Axis of
Jeffrey
Entropy.
Dahmer to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, Axis of Entropy in the chat said, if you're holding a clipboard, nobody will stop you.
Yeah,
and that's what we should do. That is it. That's it right there. I'll fucking get me a fucking clipboard with some papers on it, and I'll get. In a vest. Give me a yellow vest. I will fucking get into any event. We're going to do this summer. Okay. Actually, conventions are next year.
Yeah. Tomorrow. Yeah, next year is what we got to get
Conventions are hard because
summer's already over.
Yeah. But I mean, there are festivals and shit like
here.
that. Yeah. But there are like festivals and shit like there's still places for us to try this.
Sure.
Maybe at ACL I'll try to get in without using my pass.
Okay.
We'll try that. All right. Well, that's the show. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for listening.
Or in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
you got a Q&A next
Fight.
week.
Yeah, we're doing the live shows this week. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Next week, we're going to be in D.C., Chapel Hill, Jacksonville, Atlanta, and Nashville. You can find tickets to all the shows at store.streetfightradio.com. The Nashville tickets are not available on our website. You have to go to either streetfightradio.com or go to the Facebook event to click around. It takes a little extra effort, and we don't have a discount option available. If you need that, reach out to us, streetfightradio@gmail.com. We appreciate everybody that continues to support what we do. If you want to continue supporting us as we spread this mess across the U.S., head over to patreon.com. It's a monthly donation that you make to make sure that we can keep doing what we do. We offer zines, we offer bonus audio, we have bonus video. Brian's going to be doing a bonus Shock Jock special edition coming up in October. So
get on that $5.
There's so much. It's like there might not be something tomorrow, but there is like 24 zines and like 60 fucking bonus shows.
Get on that $5 level, and there's always going to be some fucking weird high concept thing from me. It's
guaranteed.
Once the Jocktober thing is over, I have an idea for the next thing and the thing after that. So I'm doing more weird audio, and if you want to be a part of that journey, I mean, I have an idea for a relationship advice show. And also, I plan to hopefully, now this is in the beginning stages because I can't figure out, do a podcast about Kid Rock called American Podcasts.
Okay.
All right, so
we're happening.
Just all kinds of things happening out there.
Head over to streetfightradio.com. If you want to talk to me, you can email me, Brett@streetfightradio.com. You can find Brian. He's on Twitter @MurderBrian. You can find us on Instagram at StreetFightWCRS. I do Instagram live stories. I do the live feeds, whatever they're fucking called, live streams. Do those as well. I
want to say at the beginning of the show is pretty heavy. I don't want people to feel bad for me or anything. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Before we end
that was all performance.
It wasn't
that was
a
none of that
performance,
he was
but
playing the character of Murder Brian when he feels,
I'm 40.
sullen.
I'm 40 years old and I've had these feelings all my life, so it's no different. And I'm gonna be. I don't want people to.
Well, I mean, it's like I said last week.
It's like concerning.
It's a balance. I mean, it's better to just spill the beans. Me and my wife, like, through 9 years or whatever of a relationship, it was like at the beginning, I would be mad at her and I would hold it in for 9 months. And then I would tell her, and then it would be okay. And then she would be mad at me and she would hold it for 9 months, and then it'd be okay. Then it was 7 months. Now it's like the window is getting closer and closer and closer. When I just tell the people that I like and that I care about, like, what's going on with me, once I get it off my chest, once it becomes out loud, it's like, all right, this kind of seems a little bullshitty and like complainy and whiny and all this stuff.
That's right.
And I think I can move on.
Yeah.
Like I think when it lives inside of your head, it just is so toxic. It just gets too concentrated. It's not reality. It's all, a lot of it is like, it's so distorted because you're doing the perspective of a perspective. You're saying this person is looking at me and thinking these things about me. Right. And this is like two lenses that it's all been filtered through that make zero sense and are totally irrelevant and unreal.
Yeah.
So you just have to the thoughts aren't true. Just because you have them, they aren't true.
Yeah.
But you just need to put that comma. You just have to say like, all right, I'm a piece of shit because I make all this money, comma, but I'm going to try to do something that makes me feel good. I'm going to do something to rectify. But you have the option to, you do always have the option to be differently. It's just that your body and mind will be kicking and screaming every time you try to change it. And it's balance. You slip. You just fucking slip. You're never going to be always on. You're never going to be perfect, but you're going to slip sometimes and just be like fucking out of it. And you have to just say like, throw your hands up and say, I don't know what's fucking going on. I'm just out. It's just too much right now.
Yeah. I wanted to
That's why you need people around. I mean, that's why that coach is right. You can't look at your phone too much. Thanks for listening to Street Fight. The Luddites were right. We'll see you later. Peace.